is up, you guys? I fly out to Washington tomorrow, early morning, so I'm filming this late into the night, but this is the last episode for the week. I'm going to enjoy the trip with my boys, but we got Western Conference predictions here, and I got a spicy one. I was at the Magic home opener a few nights ago. We actually played Western Conference team in the Houston Rockets, and we won by 30 points. Go Magic, baby. Amazing game. So I'm going to give you guys my predictions on these teams and what I think is going to wind up happening in the Western. So for the first team, we got the Portland Trailblazers coming in at 37-45. Now, this conference is going to be very competitive, I think. And, no team's going to go under 35 wins in this conference. That's just how competitive it's going to be. The West is loaded, and I think all 50 teams will be in contention for a play-in spot, hands down. But at 15, I have the Portland Trailblazers. They just traded Dame, acquired some young, experienced players in DeAndre Ayton, Malcolm Brogdon, along with the new face of the franchise, Scoot Henderson. They also have many picks coming up, and building around Scoot and Anthony Simons with the players that they now just added, this team won't suck. Just this conference is just way too stacked. So expect that. At number 14, I got the San Antonio Spurs coming in at 38-44. Ignore my handwriting. I'll have it up on the screen. Victor Wembanyama hype is real. Team is super young. They have amazing potential for many years to come. And Greg Popovich will get this team to the playoffs within the next 2 years if he does stay the head coach. They won't completely suck, but I think inexperience will have them looking downhill of this conference. I think they edge out Portland because the injury bug is most likely to hit Portland. And it already did. Anthony Simons is already out 4 to 6 weeks off a thumb injury. And Portland having 3 players who have dealt with injuries their whole careers. Spurs are young and potential out the roof with players like Jeremy Sochan, Vessel, Keldon Johnson, Devontae Graham, and even Trey Jones, which I love. Young, but way too young to be serious in the West. Going to my 13th seed, I got the Houston Rockets, a team I just saw play. It is one game. It's the first game of the season. I get it, but they're not looking that good. I got them going at 39-43. They made some major improvements to the roster by adding Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks. They also have some very promising players in rookie Amen Thompson. He didn't play so well against us. Jabari Smith, who played pretty decent, and who I think is going to have an amazing year this year. Sengun, looking like a promising big man. And Cam Whitmore, another player who I think will have a great year. This team is young and has high potential, but the issue with Kevin Porter Jr. and losing him was huge. Again, the West is just too stacked, and I think they will be in contention for a play-in spot, maybe a playoff spot all year, but they are that 1 star away from a real playoff team. Also, Ime Udoka, I think that's his name. He was the former coach for the Celtics, took them to the finals. He's a great coach. He is very much in a harder conference than he was, and will have a challenging first year as the Rockets head coach, and they're off to a bad start already. Going to my 12th seed, I got the Memphis Grizzlies at 40-42. John Morant is suspended for 25 games, and Steven Adams is having a season-ending injury already. He's getting surgery on it. And other than the Marcus Smart trade, they really didn't get anything in the offseason. They lost more than they gained. I just think this team does not have it figured out despite having great pieces in Ja, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson, and Clark. They will struggle massively this year as the West got even stronger, and they didn't get so much stronger. Coming at the 11th seed, I got the New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans will finish 41-41. I think they end up trading Zion at the trade deadline. He just hasn't been what they expected. He had a great opening first game. Keep in mind, this episode is being filmed 3 days into the season. I've just been so busy. But he just hasn't been what they expected with him being injured every single year, more than half the year. I think he starts off very fast, which he has, but then picks up another injury. When you look at this team, you don't think they are bad. Players like Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, Dyson Daniels, and Valanciunas. This team needs a rebuild, and unfortunately, they are stuck in the lower Midwest of this conference. Something needs to change here, and I think trading Zion will get this team back on track. Pelicans at 11. Going to my 10th seed, and I got the Utah Jazz at 43 and 39. This team is on the rise heavily in the West, and this year they will make the play-in. Lauri Markkanen is a difference maker, and he's on a different level. And then you look at Walker Kessler, who is very promising, and he's going to be an all-star in the next 3 years, maybe even like this year. Jordan Clarkson, pure dog, the heart and soul of this team. Colin Sexton, a player who has a lot to prove, and John Collins, who I think was a great pickup. I think he'll put this team over the top this year. This is a very good young team, and I think they are also 1 star away from a deep playoff run. They also have a good amount of picks coming up in drafts. Jazz are on the rise, and they fall short in the play-in, but take a lot into next season. I do not have them coming out of the play-in this year, unfortunately, but they will be strong. Going to my 9th seed, I got OKC Thunder. I got them finishing 45 and 37. This is such a promising team, and players like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Josh Giddey, Lou Dort, Trey Mann, Devon Bertans, Jalen Williams, Jalen Jal and then Jay Williams. This team is a future contender for the title. They also have 15 first-round picks and 22 second-round picks from 2024 to 2030. That is insane. Not to mention their draft pick last year, Chet Holmgren, making his debut this year. I think this team will be an 8th seed through the play-in. They get out of the play-in, and they will be better and better each year. Watch out for them. They're going to be strong going forward. Going to my 8th seed, I got the Los Angeles Lakers. Okay, I know everyone's going to be like, you are stupid. No. 46 and 36. They got manhandled by Denver opening night. Bron is too old. LeBron's going to be limited 25 to 30 minutes a game this year. They need him on the floor if they want to win. He won't play more than 52 games this year, I don't think. And AD can't stay healthy, and also he looked really washed in the opening game. I get they made the Western Conference Finals last year, but the West got stronger, and this year by a lot. LA kind of stayed the same. They added Gabe Vincent and Christian Wood. I don't really see them being a big difference. I think everyone expects them to be that team this year. No, I'm sorry, Lakers fans. I just don't see it. If they can't stay healthy, then I see them being a top 5 team. But too many questions for me to put them anywhere near top 5. I am a D'Angelo Russell fan. I have loved him since college. I want to see him win, but LA needs to rebuild, and I think this year maybe Bron's last year in an LA jersey, maybe in the NBA. If not, then next year 100%, and I think that's where LA will make major moves. I see them getting bounced in the play-in. They can't keep pace and with this loaded Western Conference. So, LA Lakers at the 8th seed. Going on to my 7th seed, I got the Minnesota Timberwolves. 48 and 34. This is Anthony Edwards' year. Ant is going to lead them into the playoffs. They are my next team coming out the play-in. And this year as a higher seed than last year. And with Karl-Anthony Towns also looking deadly, this team to me is a sleeper in the West. The one to watch for me this year in this team is Jaden McDaniels. He got a contract extension, and he's ready to rock. He's a very good player, and he's a very good shooter. This will be his best year in the league yet. Also to note, Jalen Clark, he's out for half the season, but he's very promising. And I think when he comes back, he makes a major impact to the T-Wolves. A very promising team right here in the T-Wolves. They get out of the play-in, and they make the playoffs this year. Expect them to take the 2nd seed to maybe 7 games. Now going to my 6th seed, I have the Dallas Mavericks. I know it's screwed up. I'm trying to find ways to give you guys content, okay? I got the Dallas Mavericks 49 and 33. Luka and Kyrie, all I have to say. That's it. I mean, how do you stop that combo? If they stay healthy, if Kyrie stays healthy and stays out of his drama. The additions of Grant Williams and Markieff Morris will be huge. They will bring defense to this team in a big way. The only concern I have with this team is could very well drop them lower in the standings is their big man situation. For one, they have no depth at their big man, and their starter is Dwight Powell. With that being said, Maxi Kleba is a very promising power forward and could help this big man situation, but losing Christian Wood and gaining nothing for that position back was big. But Dallas have a great offensive unit in Kyrie, Luka, Josh Green, Tim Hardaway Jr., and getting back Seth Curry. They have firepower, so if you can't play defense, you will not beat this team, I promise you. Okay, so Dallas Mavericks coming at the 6th seed. They sneak into the playoffs. They avoid the play-in. And I think, they can make some noise in this conference. Now, going to this side, the Los Angeles Clippers coming at the 5th seed at 50 and 32. Typical of them to be here. It seems like every single year the Clippers are either the 4th seed or the 5th seed because of load management with Kawhi and Paul George. But if Kawhi and PG play more than 50 games, this team will win many games. James Harden is rumored to join them in a trade once Philly is able to get a deal done. If that happens, this team can seriously win something. And for those of you guys that are about to say James Harden is washed, he's not washed. He's still a great player. He just has personality issues. There's a big difference between being washed and having personality issues, okay? And the Clippers are a personality mess, but they just want to win. And then once they win, they're going to be terrible. And also, adding on to that, Westbrook is trying to find his way back, and I think he has a great year along with Bones Highland, which I think was a great pickup at the trade deadline last year. He's a very explosive guard, and Terrence Mann, who I think had a nice year last year, makes a heavy impact this year as well. Zubac is who questions me. He's a good big when he plays, but last year was up and down for him. Mason Plumlee took minutes from him towards the end of the year. This team has depth in Covington, Norman Powell, Joshua Primo, Kenyon Martin Jr., Nicholas Batum, and Marcus Morris. They can make a run at it this year, and I think this will be their last run at it. After this year, I think Paul George and Kawhi will leave, and then Russell will find his way somewhere else. So Clippers coming at the 5th seed. At the number 4 seed, I got the Sacramento Kings coming in at 55 and 27. This team has been on the rise the last couple years, and with last year's impressive playoff run nearly knocking out the Warriors, losing in a Game 7, expect them to come back even stronger this year. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis are the engine of this team, and Keegan-Murray, Davion Mitchell, Kevin Huerter, and Malik Monk, all explosive, young, talented players. Now that they have a taste of the playoff experience, they are the biggest threat to the Denver Nuggets, I think. Yeah, I said it here first. The Sacramento Kings will be the biggest threat to Denver this year. Going to my 3rd, I got the Phoenix Suns at 57 and 25. Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant. All I have to say, how do you stop that big three? Seriously, how do you stop that big three? You don't. If this team can stay healthy, oh man, don't sleep on their big Yusuf Nurkic either. He's a great big man in this league, and he fits this team perfectly. He fits it way better than he did in Portland. Other than the Kings, they are also a threat for the title, and this is a stacked conference. The Suns can emerge, and Devin Booker is going to have an MVP type year. Josh Okogie is my breakout player for this team, and they added players like Bates Diop, Grayson Allen, Damian Lee, Eric Gordon, and Nazir Little is a promising young talented player coming up. These players will help with depth in a big way, and don't forget about Wananobe. He's a sniper. He's a pure sniper, and watch out for him from deep. Going to my 2nd seed, the Golden State Warriors. Okay, 58 and 24. The addition of Chris Paul helps this team in many ways. They are the best team at running a small ball lineup. Curry, Clay, Chris Paul, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins / Kevon Looney at the big. That lineup is small ball, and that lineup is deadly. Okay, we saw them put together a championship with the exclusion of Chris Paul. Now they're adding him into the mix. This could very well be their last year, and I think the Warriors are running out of time with their dynasty. Kuminga and Andrew Wiggins will be the players to elevate this team even further. Don't sleep on Moses Moody and Gary Payne either. Young players that are really explosive for this team. And last but not least, going to my number 1 seed, the Denver Nuggets. I know it's scratched up. I'm finding ways, okay? The Denver Nuggets, 60-22. How do you stop Jokic? Can you answer that? No, nobody can. He should have been MVP last year, and then Embiid should have been MVP the year before. Okay? That's an argument that EJ also agrees with. Jokic purely dominated the whole league last year. Then he dominated the finals. He should be MVP. They just gave it to Embiid because they knew they screwed up the year before and they felt bad. That's petty to me, and I don't like it. Jokic, MVP favorite for me again this year. This team is the new dynasty, and expect them to stay with it for the next 2 to 3 years. They will run the West. Jamal Murray and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope are pure dogs. Michael Porter Jr. keeps getting better and better. Addition of Reggie Jackson was huge to back up Jamal. He will provide some great 6-man minutes and production to this team. Also, this team has great depth and young players with some like Christian Buran, Vlaklato Cancer emerging in the league. The Nuggets are on top. I know I mispronounced those names. I misspelled them on here. Just had a long week. But the Nuggets have some young players, and they're going to be a dynasty going a long way. Now, for my NBA Finals, okay, there's not a doubt that one of these teams will be in the finals. Either the Kings, the Suns, the Warriors, or the Nuggets. Now, I told EJ a couple of days ago, I think it's going to be the Warriors and the Bucks. Okay, I want to see Chris Paul, get a ring. But after watching Denver play the other night on opening night, I'm changing my pick. I'm going Denver Nuggets back to the NBA Finals against the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, that's an epic matchup. If you're a real NBA fan and you love to watch the game of basketball, you want to see that matchup right there. Giannis versus Jokic. Dame versus Jamal Murray. Man, so Denver Nuggets versus the Milwaukee Bucks are my NBA Finals. I'm sorry, Golden State fans. I would love to see Chris Paul get a ring, but you guys can't stop Jokic. This whole conference can't stop Jokic. So, Nuggets, Warriors, Suns, Kings, Clippers, and Mavericks top out the top 6. The play-in tournament, Timberwolves, Lakers, OKC Thunder, and Utah Jazz, with the OKC Thunder and Minnesota Timberwolves advancing from the play-in. Pelicans, Grizzlies, Rockets, Spurs, and Trailblazers are my lottery teams. And also notice none of them are under 35 wins because of how strong this conference is. The Magic game just started. I'm going to bed. I got to be up at 6 a.m. to go to Washington tomorrow. Let's go Magic. NBA's back. Peace.